Hello there, my name is Pash and welcome to my YouTube channel SmartStudy Lab. In the last few months, I have talked in detail about several research-backed smarter ways to study, proven smarter ways to study to help you to get better marks in your exams while studying lesser number of hours. It is important that you learn multiple smarter ways to study and that you mix up these smarter ways to study while studying rather than practicing each one in isolation. So for example, if you're trying to retrieve information from your own memories, make sure that you space out your retrieval attempts over time. Lakhs of students around the world are already using these smarter ways to study to improve their academic performance while spending less time studying. Just imagine the number of hours you will also free up every month by studying smarter. So without losing any time, let's talk about the peak end rule for smarter study. Our brains don't have the capacity to remember everything. Therefore, we economize our memories by prioritizing two types of moments to create snapshot memories: the peak moments and the end moments. The peak end rule is a psychological rule that states that our memory of an experience is valued by its peak and end moments, while the rest of the experience is mostly ignored. The peak is the most intense, positive or negative moment, and the end is how the experience ended. Hence the name peak end rule. The rule applies to both pleasant and unpleasant experiences. This graph that you see on the screen attempts to explain what the peak end rule is. On the x-axis you have time, and on the y-axis you have satisfaction levels of your experience in percentage. The human mind tends to remember quality of past experiences almost entirely on the basis of how the experience was at its peak moment and how the experience ended. The quality of the rest of the experience journey is, well, mostly not taken into account. Research shows that people prefer to repeat uncomfortable physical experiences when those experiences end with a period of relative comfort. So for example, physical exercise is often painful, but if you end your workout with something easy, you will remember the overall workout as being less painful and thereby increase your motivation to work out in the future. The same dynamic applies to learning as well. A multitude of research has been done on applying the peak end rule to study smarter, and the results suggest four main points. The first is ending your study session of study material that you find tough on a high note makes a lot of sense. Studying relatively easier bits of the challenging study material towards the end of the study session will make the overall study session appear less challenging and motivate you to come back to the study material later. On the other hand, rushing through the toughest bits of information in the end of your study session might make you remember the study session in a negative light and may discourage you from studying that topic later. Second, majority of students prefer a painful study session that lasted longer but ended more pleasantly over a shorter painful study session. That is, majority students preferred studying a challenging topic for a longer period of time when the study session ended with studying something easy as compared to studying a challenging topic for a shorter period of time which did not end on an easy note. So all the more important that you follow the peak end rule during your studies. Third, when you study tough topics earlier in the day and easier ones towards the end of the day, you will feel that your day ended well and you will feel happier overall. In fact, one of the biggest improvements in your life by following the peak end rule would be to end your day every day on a happier note. And finally, 4, when studying or when preparing for an exam, plan to study the easiest topics towards the end. This way you also study the tough topics when you're mostly fresh and alert. So you too can become a smarter student by using the peak end rule during your studies by following these two simple steps. First is, before you begin your study, quickly review your study material and identify the portions that you find easy and the ones that you find tough and challenging. And then second, spend the first 80% of your study time or 70 or 80% of your study time studying portions of your study material that you find tough, and the last 20% of your time focus on the relatively easier portions and thereby end your study session on a high note. Obviously, many other factors contribute to academic achievement, but your choice to study a topic are decided partly by memory of previous pain and pleasure experienced when studying the topic. That is, how easy or challenging you found the topic. This means that the means of acquiring the information also has value. When the exam material that you have to study are necessarily challenging ones, as they can often be, how you manage your study experience of them partly influence if you will come back to study the material again. So in summary, what this all means is that when studying challenging but important topics, adding a better end to your study session may be one simple way to increase your motivation for future study of the same topic. By following this simple yet powerful rule, you will find it easier to come back to topics that you find tough. The peek and rule is a proven aid to smarter learning as it subconsciously improves your motivation to study difficult but important topics without you having to do anything in particular. Hence, smart students think carefully about how they use the last 10 minutes of their daily study time and focus on the easier bit towards the end of their study time. Follow the peek and rule and get huge benefits from it during your exams by keeping yourself motivated to study important topics that you find tough. Well, before I leave you with this smarter way to study, a small request to hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen to learn about more other highly effective and powerful smarter ways to study. Also, like this video and share it with your friends on social media and WhatsApp if you feel that you learned something new. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about a smart study method which is popularly known as associative learning or simply learning through association. Fact is that we all are used to learning by association right from our childhood without even being aware of it. What we will do in the next session is to just see how we can make it a part of our study time to study smarter. I'm Pash from SmartStudy Lab and I'm signing off now, and I will see you next week or in the comments below. Till then, keep your chin up, be happy, smile and study smarter. See you next week.